Good morning, friends. Welcome to Blue Heron Hill. I'm Sue, and we have hit our average first frost date. We're sitting on October 3rd. I'm in zone 6A, and we haven't had a frost yet, but last night or early this morning I woke up and it said 37 on my thermometer. So I thought that this is the time where I'm going to have to really consider what I want to bring inside and what I'm going to leave to a killing frost. So every year I select a few of my geraniums to bring in. I have 3 here, 1 in this pot and 2 in this pot. And I've decided to overwinter these. If you haven't overwintered geraniums, you really should do it because of a number of reasons. One, you're going to save money because you're not going to have to purchase the geraniums in your nursery next spring and summer. Number 2, it's really easy. It takes little or no effort to overwinter these. And I'm not talking just taking this pot inside and plopping it in a sunny window and watering it or feeding it or something like that. We're actually going to dig these up and store them in a cool, dry, dark space. It seems a little radical, and it seems as though, how in the world are these going to survive with no light, no water, and no attention? Now, I have done a couple other videos on it, so I'm going to make this one a little short and sweet. But in this corner, I'll place an iCard about, that you can link to my other videos on overwintering geraniums. I'll also put one down in the description below. So let's go digging in the dirt and I'll show you what I do. Oh, here goes one. All right, we'll start with this one. There we go. Need to be careful and pull up as many roots as you possibly can. And then we're going to tease off as much soil as possible. And this is what we end up with. This. And this is what we are going to store and overwinter. You're going to want to cut off any blooms. This has some beautiful ones. I wish we had time for them to mature. You can cut those off. You can cut off any dead and dying leaves. All of these leaves are going to die anyway, so I tend to give everybody just a wee bit of a haircut before I put them in. So now they're ready. Now, where do we store them and how do we store them? I usually take a paper bag, and place them inside a paper bag. In some of my other videos about overwintering geraniums, I will just hang them upside down in a basement space until they dry and then put them in the bag. But they can either go in a paper bag, a cardboard box, anything that you can close up and keep the light out when you store them in a dark place. Even a closet is fine. There we go. Even though This didn't get a lot of roots on it. I still have high hopes for this one. I find that some of the larger ones do better, but again, we need to cut off the pretty blooms, any buds that are appearing, and a few of these bottom leaves. Oh, there are more buds on this one than I thought. And in the bag, this one goes also. The reason we take the flower buds off is that you don't want all of the energy that's left in this plant going towards flowering and growing those buds. You want it to go into dormancy and have enough energy in the stems and the roots. The stems are going to hold on to some moisture, and you will be surprised, even when they're closed up in this bag in a nice dark and dry and cool spot, on in about February and certainly March, you are going to see green leaves start sprouting from here. So you will have to check it in January, February. And once you start seeing those leaves come out, pot these up into some, I don't know, 4 or 6-inch pots or something like that. Put them in a sunny window, and they are going to be off to the races. You are going to have gorgeous geranium plants all ready to be out in your pots in the springtime. Sadie, go away. What are you doing? Okay, I have a number of other geraniums around the property. There's one there, there's one back on my porch that have to be taken in. Now this is a really large specimen. This isn't my biggest one. The biggest is yet to come. But you can... But this one I definitely want to save. Anyway, that's quite a large one. Now I'm looking at this one, many branches, and I will probably next spring make cuttings of some of these, because this one would get a little stressed being this large, I think. And besides, I can divide it and have more than one. So this I'm going to put in another bag and label it, and I'm going to take you and show you my largest geranium. Now, believe it or not, this one is one geranium. It takes up this massive pot here. Let's see if you can see down in here. There are multiple stems and branches. This one will definitely be divided up next year. This one has been sitting on my deck overlooking the water all summer. It loved it here. Usually in this big pot I'll put a small geranium and lots of other plants. This one was just overtook the whole pot. I do have some Nugidian patience in a pot here that shared the space. Okay, here's our root ball. Just tease most of that root, the soil off the roots. Another thing I must say is if you have a diseased plant, don't overwinter it. Consider that a loss. If you have, I haven't had any problems with geraniums harboring any diseases. But I know that some may, and you don't want to bring those indoors. I wanted to show you, see this one here? That's a brand new shoot that came up this year from this branch here. There's a couple of them. On this side, there's two here. See, they're going up in parallel. Oops, actually 3. But it would be a good time to look at this plant and decide that this one needs to be divided. And if I can, I may divide it here, but I won't do that until the springtime, until these things start to come out of dormancy. So I'm going to go take this to my workstation. I'm going to pull off most all of the leaves. This is just such a heavy leaf mass that I want at least to be able to have a little air circulation in here when it's overwintering. And the soil, of course, is all going to dry up and fall off. And then have to take off all those beautiful flowers. But better than it being killed by the frost, which is coming. As I brought this back, this one broke off very easily right from this area, right, oops, can't see it, right from this area right there. Seemed to split so naturally right there. So I may, and see, it has a nice root system on it, so that is a lot of pluses for this one. So I do now have a lovely second plant from this dark red one. But I'm looking at this more carefully and seeing if there is any other way that I can split this off at this point in time instead of waiting. They seem to be wrapped around each other quite a bit, and I don't really like that. In trees, it's called girdling, where the roots will wrap around other roots and actually kill part of the tree. So I may just wait on the rest of this. I see one here, I don't know if you can see that. This one here, as it comes down here, it wraps around this one here. I don't like that. So I might wait. It might be a better time in the spring to, figure this one out and see how I can divide them better. It won't have this huge foliar umbrella on it. All of this will die back and brown, so those will just be stripped off. You can take a lot of these off. It'll help in the wintering over of them. This is what I'll do with those geraniums after I pull them up. The foliage will all turn brown, shrivel up, and I can take that off. The soil will dry up, and then I'll just put these inside the paper bags and label them and tuck them away for their winter dormancy, and then check on them once a month in about February. When they start sprouting again, I'll pot them up in their pots. So I hope you give this a try. It's well worth the effort, or really no effort at all. So until the next time that we can go digging in the dirt, happy gardening. Bye.